You ready? Okay. I'll call this meeting to order. This is the Breezy Point City Council. It's for Monday, July 6th, a regular meeting, and the first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming here tonight. It's a beautiful night, even though it was supposed to be raining today, but we still have time to get out on the lake and do something. First item is the consent agenda. Anybody wishing to take something off the consent agenda and discuss separately? Gary?
No, sir.
Rebecca?
No.
Michael?
No.
So you have before you the council minutes from June 1st, 2020, and approval of claims totaling $56,666.72, which includes electronic checks 2560E through 2652E and 2577E, paper checks 136052 through 136089 and 136091 through 136119. We also have the results from the city administrator's annual performance appraisal, which we held in closed session last month. And then we also have the COVID-19 plan for the city of Breezy Point. At this time, I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as written.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 We do have one change in the agenda because Jacob Schroeder cannot make it tonight due to a conflict. He will be here next month, so we will basically just postpone the Boy Scout badge discussion until next month. The next item is open forum. Anybody wishing to come before the council and speak on any topic whatsoever can do so at this time. Please state your name and address, and you can address the council. Nobody wishing to come forward. Okay, I will then close the open forum. Mayor and city council reports. One thing with all the stuff that's been going on in the country and also in Minnesota, I'd like again to reiterate and acknowledge the role of the city of Breezy Point's police department that they provide to the entire population of our city. With all the negative press and debate about police forces in the major cities, I kind of feel I need to acknowledge our own police force as a great asset that we have for our community. And I've said this multiple times before, that we've been really blessed with absolutely the best small city police department in the entire area, if not the state. And I'd also be remiss if I would not mention the entire staff of the city of Breezy Point for maintaining the high level of performance that we've been experiencing in these trying times. Both Public Works and Administrative have done an outstanding job in keeping the city running as smoothly as it can in these times. And I'm sure everyone's aware of the recent events that associated with the developer who wanted to build a large number of single and two-family units on tax forfeited property. The developer was working through the Crow Wing County Housing and Redevelopment Authority since last April. Subsequent to his initial inquiries and declarations with the HRA, the Board of Commissioners elected to change the rules and cancel his reservations to select tax forfeit properties he had declared to develop. And all of these properties were then reoffered to the public in the upcoming tax forfeit land sale on July 24th. I was very disappointed with the actions of some who put forth so many false and bigoted statements regarding what the developer was going to be doing and who the target buyers were going to be. This is the first time since I've lived in Breezy Point that I was seriously ashamed of the actions of a small number of citizens who promulgated much of this information on social media, even when they knew the information was false. That said, on a brighter note, I've been contacted by the Bemidji Disc Golf Club to bring another disc golf tournament to the Breezy Point Disc Golf Course. The tournament is tentatively scheduled for September 19th, and I promised them that we would have good weather for their event. Last year, they had almost 100 disc golfers in various levels of expertise, ranging from novice to pro, come to the Breezy Point for a one-day event. And as I was writing this down, I was contacted by the head of the Bemidji Disc Golf Club, and they want to have a second tournament on July 26th. I don't have all the information on it at this point, but I would like to have a little bit of discussion, take a couple minutes here for some discussion. Should we commit to hosting this event and the September event? So I'll open it up. Tentatively, I've indicated that we would be willing to do that, but I did tell him that I needed to discuss it with the city council. This is an event that draws a lot of people to the community, and it has brought, accolades as far as the design and the complexity of our disc golf course. They really enjoy it. So, Gary, any comments? Gary Bakken.
All for it.
Comments? Go for it.
No, for it. Wonderful.
Yep. Rebecca, anything? That's up in your neck of the woods, so.
Well, considering the fact that I didn't notice their presence the last time they were around, I don't think they were too disruptive.
Right, and
So,
that was the first time we had it, and it was pretty, they conducted themselves very well. They do have it's the Professional Disc Golf Association or something like that. They have their rules and regulations to comply with the COVID-19 protocol. And everybody will be following that as well as signing a waiver. And if it runs as smoothly as it did last year, I don't think we'll have any problems. Michael, I'll let you speak and then get to Gary, because she's trying to catch up.
I did attend last year, just the opening session. I didn't partake. I'm nowhere in that caliber. I think the city's involvement was well thought out. We had the police posting no parking signs on some of the roadways to discourage that, to make sure emergency services can still get through. So hopefully we can continue to offer that and being mindful of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it's great to see that being used in such a well event.
Right, and like I say, I just heard about this July 26th tournament that they would like to have, because theirs up in Bemidji got canceled at the last minute. So he's reaching out to us to see if we can use our course. Like I say, those were the nicest guys.
They ran it well. They were very communicative with all the
Yep.
players to make sure everybody was good.
So, Gary, any comments?
Is there anything, the COVID thing have any bearing on it at all?
We do not issue a permit or anything like that for it. It's, it's their private club and they want to come in. They're just basically using our course. So we don't have any regulation on it at all. They do have, I was told, like I say, 2 hours ago is when I first heard about this. They do have a protocol that they will be following with distancing, that type of thing, as much as they can, as well as following some protocols that they have written down in the plan.
Yeah, if a lot of people are excited, it sounds, for me, I'm certainly in favor
Okay.
of it.
So I will,
Mr. Mayor, if I may,
yes,
one thing if we can ask staff to do is to see if I know we've talked about it in the past, but a QR code of some sort for a
that was give me the
Okay.
neck.
We'd love, while we do own and maintain it, we'd love donations and even offer feedback
Absolutely.
on these types
Yeah.
of things. And PayPal, they can certainly transfer the funds, and not sure the legalities and rules and regulations for the city to set up such a thing, but I think it'd be phenomenal if we could have something close.
I know I've seen it, for other cities and stuff like that. They have a, QR code that you can. And being that you had mentioned it earlier, I've talked to Patrick about it, and I don't think there's any problem with getting it, it's just a matter of getting it set up. So do you know of anybody with some good computer smarts that can help us out?
Mr. Mayor, if you'd like, I can certainly volunteer my time and
You got it.
potentially work with our IT staff and staff
Yeah.
to get something set up, and
Yep,
I'd love. To
I would love to have that in
Okay.
place.
I'll
if you
work with
could.
staff and in IT to get something that works before then.
Yep, thank you. So I will be getting back to the Bemidji Disc Golf Club and saying, where to go?
Game on.
That's all that I have. Mr. Bakken, you have anything for reports?
I've got something down on committee reports, but no, other than that.
Okay. Rebecca, anything?
No, I just mentioned that my family, we went to the city beach the other day, and kids just loved it. It was very well maintained, so kudos to the city, and those steps work great that were put in down to the water, so just encourage everybody to go use it. It's a great asset to the city.
Yep. Gary, anything?
Is there any need for any of us to help out at that disc thing, or
The
they take care of themselves?
I was planning to be there just to hang around and shake hands and greet people, I guess. But last year they ran it, they didn't really need any of our assistance. I
Okay.
did ask what logistics that they would require, and he hasn't gotten back to me on anything like that, but
Okay,
pretty much run it themselves.
very good.
Michael, anything?
I have nothing in our council reports.
Okay. Committee reports. Planning Commission.
Planning Commission did meet last month on June 9th. In front of them, they had a conditional use permit. The structure was actually applied for a permit, granted, and during the construction phases, the homeowner altered the building, which essentially put it over a size limit which needed a conditional use permit, so permitted use with conditions. So it was almost like an after-the-fact conditional use permit, but from everything that the P&Z could see, it passed for that approval. They also did have a discussion. As you recall, the council had a workshop with a number of punch items that we'd like the P&Z to evaluate. They had a good, healthy discussion about that, and they're going to take on action items as time allows them in their upcoming sessions coming up, such as lot sizes, home sizes, animal husbandry. So they get to tackle that one again.
Right.
So it was a good, healthy discussion, and look forward to seeing more from that
Good.
group and as time goes on.
Cemetery Committee. Mr. Bakken.
Pretty simple and pretty short. There wasn't a quorum, so no business could be approved. And the only thing of import, general conversation was productive. And we did get another add a girl, add a boy for the looks of the cemetery from a family here. Keep getting those, and we should. Now, if I may, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to cover a couple of things, not concerning the cemetery, but it's part of the charge that I have. We had a parade, as you all probably well know, executed by Keith Schwenkel, local realtor, and his wife, Marcy Weaver. I don't know how many of you were there, but if you weren't, you sure missed something very special, let me tell you. Our police department was involved, the fire department, all the little kids loved that, and Aaron Baraks and his partner, Beth Gabor, their young daughter, well, she's not young daughter, she's 18, who was extremely talented in the arts and singing, and just graduated from singing art school in Minneapolis. And was supposed to have a gig at Carnegie Hall, but the coronavirus killed that. She put on about a 15-minute show of various and selected songs, and God Bless America, the Star Spangled Banner, and I'm telling you, it was a show that like I've never seen before. So kudos to those folks. The last item I have concerns the airport. The airport had their annual meeting Saturday past. Gary was there, and I'm thankful that he was there. Thank you for being there. And myself. They have elected a new chairman, Dale Zorb, and of course Cliff was again the manager. Of interest, and it's been talked about on my part over the last 4, 5, 6 months, is they're running out of space on the west side of the airport runway. And Dale Zorb, the chairman, has commissioned, with the group's approval, a feasibility study to search out if it's needed, and number 2, if it will be profitable. And in my opinion, I believe in Gary's and Cliff's, it is needed, it will be profitable, and it will be a real boon to this city and the resort. 10 units initially, and nothing has been decided, but there's been several beautiful, beautiful pictures or examples that are being kicked around. And it's a real big deal for the airport and for the city. So that's all I have.
Okay.
Unless Gary has something else. Did I miss something?
Well, we did emphasize the fact that the airport has a lot to do with people first coming into Breezy Point and seeing it, and so the city would not like to see boats and pontoon boats and junk parked along the County Road 11 here, and if they're going to do it, then they need to landscape it and do a nice job so it represents the city.
Yes, thank you for it, and that was one of the things I did not put down on my list, and consequently I forgot to say, but that was a very important part of the discussion. They are adamant, and it will be in their charter, no garbage, no storage, an attractive building, period, on the east side. Thank you, Gary. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next item is administrator and staff reports. Last month, we had a discussion on liquor licenses and having a possible rebate. And in the memo from Patrick, talking about our liquor licenses are on a different timetable than a lot of everybody else, and making it a little more difficult for us to rebate on stuff that's already been into our budget and effectively dispositioned. So at least I was thinking that we would be looking at the 2021 liquor licenses, in which case we would have more information as to how much downtime they actually experienced. And as you can see by the listing there, we have 5 basically on sale, Sunday sale, and then 4 off sale, and only 1 3-2 sale licenses out there. As far as the off sale, that was never interrupted. Off sale essentially stayed in place. So I think we were looking at discussion on how we wanted to accomplish the rebates, or number one, if we wanted to do a rebate, and how we would accomplish it. And I was holding the opinion that we should do it for the 2021 liquor license, because we'd have the best idea as to basically how much they were shut down. So at this point, I will go around the table for discussion. I'll start with you, Mr. Bakken.
I agree with your thoughts, Mr. Mayor. I do want to add a little bit of caution here. I think 2021, we'll have to do it for them because we won't know how much downtime there is. And after watching the news, before it came national news, where this is going is not good. So,
And-
for any place.
And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to hold off
Yes,
on it, was
yes.
that by the end of the year,
Agreed.
we'll have a better idea as to how much damage technically each one
Yes, sir.
had. Rebecca, anything?
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about this last month, but
Right.
I was of the opinion too that we should, if there was any reduction, or it should be for 2021. And I think, as this memo indicates, we can use the numbers provided to help count that or factor some of that into the budget, even if it's, budgeting in, potentially the entire amount, not coming in, and at least factoring that in when we set the budget for
2021? Mhm. Gary?
No, I'm in favor of it, and
Okay.
I mean, it makes good sense to wait till 2021.
Mhm.
I think Michael just came up.
Michael was that's why I was leaving him to last.
No, I've got nothing further to add. I think it's a great thing that we're gonna have on the discussion for later this year. It's gonna be a budget item.
Yep.
Nothing
Okay.
further to add.
So just based on the informal discussion, we will move forward with making that a line item to adjust as needed for the 2021 budget. Next item is Public Works employee Brian Szymanski has submitted his resignation. He's accepted a job elsewhere, and I just want to, publicly, say that Brian has done a wonderful job for us, and really hate to see him go. But he's moving on to bigger and better things, and we just wish him very well in his endeavors. Also, at our June meeting, we authorized staff to work with the Personnel Committee to advertise for Public Works employee in anticipation of Brian's departure, as well as another Public Works employee that will be possibly leaving by the end of the year. So notices, or we sent out notices for employment, and we had an excess of 25 good applications, narrowed it down to 6 interviewees, which were interviewed today, and as Patrick just handed out, we do have 3 candidates, and candidates A, B, and C were excellent, and any one of which could fill the bill. Michael and Rebecca, as part of Personnel Committee, you want to add anything or explain anything more to us?
I can speak on the behalf of, I was part of the interview committee today. We had a number of great applications that, or interviews, I should say. I didn't get to see all the applications. I got to interview the individuals today. I think we've got some good candidates to choose from here. And I think Patrick has laid out, we have a candidate A, B, and C. So I think it's something worth moving forward with.
Okay, Rebecca, anything? Patrick, anything you
No.
want to add?
I would add that, thank you for your involvement in allowing us to proceed in expedited fashion, and Brian did move on, and we respect what he did. Of the 3 candidates here, it was a hard decision to break it down into which was the best. A is the best that we would like to offer, B second, and C third. The fact of the matter is we'd like to offer 2 positions. Now, the public may be asking, how could that be, being the fact that we just had one resign. We have a pending retirement in September, and we can go into details why that employee has stayed on through September, but we're been assured that he's going to leave in September for retirement, and he deserves that also. So for that reason, we are recommending candidates A and B with the wages and the benefits that I've identified in the memo. If either one of those two withdraw, I would ask for authorization to negotiate with candidate C.
So at this time, I will entertain a motion to authorize the city administrator to offer and negotiate full-time positions to candidates A and B. And should either one of those two not accept, that he could also continue to offer a position to candidate C. Can I have a motion to that?
So moved.
So moved. Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Okay, discussion. Mr. Bakken?
No?
Okay. Second?
No, it's just great to see so many applications came in and that we got some great candidates to choose from.
Mr. Mitchell?
No.
Michael?
No, nothing, no.
Just from the feedback I was getting, this was a really good slate of candidates all the way throughout. So I'm really excited, that we have this good talent to pick from. So all those in favor of offering to candidates A and B and candidate C as a backup, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Direction is given to negotiate with candidates A, B, and then C as a backup. Next item is Crow Wing County tax forfeited land sale. Everybody's aware that just recently, the Crow Wing County Board took action to lower the price of the tax forfeited lots in Breezy Point. I didn't really submit, I thought the city was going to submit my newspaper article to the Echo, but they just posted it on the webpage, on the Facebook page, which was kind of good because the events that took place on the Crow Wing County Board the very next day would have made it essentially obsolete if it got printed in the Echo 2 days later. So I will be updating that very shortly. The Brainerd Dispatch had an article about basically all of which I have to say I kind of ranted a little bit on my mayor reports. So we do have some properties that could be used for access to our disc golf course. And at this point, I'd like to discuss a little bit on where we want to be going. We do have some options, and we will be discussing a little bit of this in closed session here just in a few minutes. But Mr. Bakken, you have any comments?
Well, I totally agree with your dissertation earlier in the beginning of the meeting, and I'm puzzled, and I want to express my thanks to you for all the work and everybody else that's been involved in this, and I'm not sure I know everything that's gone on with the county. I wasn't there. But I appreciate what you've tried to do, and I thank you for what you've tried to do, and I'm very disappointed that the county pulled us right out from underneath this city. That's all I have to say for now. I'll have a lot more to say in the closed session.
Okay. Rebecca, anything?
I followed it a little bit, I guess, based on some of the sentiment that I saw. I think I agree with the fact that they were opened up to the public. It's unfortunate, I guess, the way things happened, that it didn't get out more publicly before, that people knew about this type of ability to purchase these lots, because I feel like they've probably been sitting out there for a long time. And many of them still will be after this auction at the end of July, I presume. But I'm okay with what's transpired thus far, I guess, and I appreciate, all the comments from everybody. And I agree with you, Mayor. I did see a lot of inaccurate information and people jumping to conclusions on social media and different sort of apps as well. So, and Michael, I know you chimed in on some of that I saw, so thank you for that.
Okay. Gary?
Look forward to discussion afterwards.
Okay. Michael?
What I can add is, it's great that we have a developer that wants to come to town. We always encourage any development coming to town. I think we were in an unprecedented time that the county chose to reduce all tax forfeited properties by 25%. I think with this application, with it not being a done deal, with it still be in works, I think it was the right thing that the county did by choosing to allow anybody in the public to go after it. Should the county have not done the 25% discount, in my opinion, there's nothing further for anybody to do. The developer would have been a done deal and secured. So come July 24th, the live auction will happen. Come the 25th, these properties will be back on as an over-the-counter, and the developer has every right, according to the county's standards, to reapply and achieve what his original goal was. I think it was, like I say, the point of the fact that the county approved, I believe it was in May, the 25% reduction across the board. I believe it was the right thing for the county to do, to offer to any individual to secure those at 25% discount. Like I say, without that, there is nothing to stop the developer from continuing forward. That's the county's rules, that's the county's regulations, that's the county deal. These are not properties owned by the city, they're not properties maintained by the city, so it was in their full discretion to do what they did.
Yeah, that being said, unfortunately, that wasn't the correct process. The developer actually started the process in April, is when he actually started making contact with HRA. According to the rules of HRA, he had the right to select specific properties, and they would be reserved for him, okay, before any county board action took place, okay? The county board then decided that they wanted to reduce the pricing, and then they basically took the lots that he had reserved away from him in violation of their own rules, okay? That was the part that was really disappointing to me, and it was primarily because some people got to a couple people on the county board, and they persuaded them to do this. It was, in my opinion, illegal. The bottom line was that we haven't had a developer that was following the rules, and the county changed the rules right in the middle of the game. They did not really have the right to do that, but they did. At least that's in my opinion, okay? And that's what really got me frustrated, is that they changed the rules. And I made this very apparent, they didn't do that for the Brainerd Oaks development. The developer came in there, he was able to reserve them, and then continue on with the process, okay? And it's still being done that way. It was only for the Breezy Point that they decided to change that. And like I say, he started the process before they lowered the prices. So that's why I was frustrated.
Certainly, yep, I can see that argument. However, I think it's due to anybody who wants to develop in this city, whether...
And this whole process has been available to any developer that wants to use it. We actually did have some developers that came in and wanted to take advantage of that, but then they also wanted a whole lot of concessions that we didn't go along with, and so they dropped out.
Yep.
But any developer can do this.
Yep.
And the really thing that really got to me was all the misinformation that was banning about. And I mean, it was, and as I said before, I was really ashamed at some of the stuff that came out. This should not have been spread through these social media networks. It was just, in many cases, bigoted, and in many cases, false. And that's what the things that really got me frustrated.
I would agree with you that there's a lot of misinformation, but I want to go back to, you talked about Brainerd Oaks, about that potential success there with what the county did with Brainerd. The precedent was, though, that the county didn't agree to a discounted tax forfeited purchases on lots at that point. That is the biggest thing that, in my opinion, is why they did the right thing. If they would have not chose to discount those, and this was 100% sealed, done deal, land has been secured and transferred over, it's a done deal, but it was a work in motion. It was not a finalized deal. And so by offering county-wide a 25% discount and not being able to allow this to anybody to purchase those lots without it being a finalized deal, that to me was where the line was drawn. Again, come the 25th, that's a county regulation. If they came in and filed application and they removed everything off there, there's no stopping that train. That's all county board, that's all county ran. But with that 25%, that's what changed the rules. That's what changed.
And I guess that's what I object to, is change the rules, just as you said.
Exactly.
They changed the rules midstream. So,
And again, it's
Yeah.
not our decision.
And it's
They
not
did
our
what they did.
decision. And, hey, it's their prerogative. It just frustrated me to no end, so,
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
point of order, if I might.
yeah.
I totally support your premise. I too have known those board members, Wayne County board members, for a long time. And I know in fact, there was a movement, just exactly what the mayor said. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
They did switch the whole game. And I was going to be real interested to see what develops because of that change. Totally agree with the mayor.
Well, and I'm not going to belabor the point from the standpoint.
I'm not either.
It's,
I want to be on
it's
record.
their game, it's their rules, they can do what they want. It was frustrating to me, anyway. But we can talk about, some of the things that we want to accomplish in closed section here very shortly. Because like I say, we do have some tax forfeit lots that previously we had passed on because we didn't have a public use for them, which was before we had the disc golf course in place where it's at. And now with the success of the disc golf course, we may want to somehow reserve some extra lots for parking for the expansion of that area. And so that's what we need to discuss in closed session.
I would love that. And Mr. Mayor, if I may make one statement on that. Your disagreement with the county is kind of fighting itself.
Yes.
You do realize that?
Oh, yes.
Yep. So I just want to make that known that, as much as you were for the developer, and again,
Yeah.
felt that discount, it's a done deal, it's moving forward. But with you saying that since they are now back on, for us to look at those lots,
I know, and that's,
I'm glad we are. I believe there's some purpose for those lots that we're going to be talking about. But I just,
like I say, it puts us between a rock and a hard spot, It's,
but I'm glad we had the afforded opportunity to talk
Yeah.
about these
Yeah.
projects.
yep.
So.
Next item is authorized dock purchase for the boat launch. As a person who's been over to the boat launch several times this last couple of weeks, we do need to have a new dock out there. And fortunately, we have received some grants, as well as we have budgeted some money, as well as a very nice donation from the PLCC. The previous dock sections developed leaks and were sinking. So we had to change it from a T configuration that would allow you to have more than one watercraft being staged to either enter or exit the landing. And so we did look at getting new manufactured dock sections that are easily removable, and we did get a bid from several items that were not easily removable, which was the biggest problem with the original ones. However, we did get an estimate from Water's Edge Dock and Lift that met all the requirements that we wanted. It'll be a welded aluminum construction and matching that of the other docks that we do have. And the finances, you can see listed there, PLCC donation of $10,000, Sourcewell grant of $1,500, general fund of another $1,500. So I would entertain a motion to purchase the Beach King dock system from Water's Edge for a total of $13,068.15.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. Any further discussion, Michael?
No, again, thank you to the PLCC for the donation, and thanks for staff for working on the Sourcewell grant that we were granted.
Yes. Gary? Rebecca?
Nope, I disagree with Mike.
Gary?
Same.
Okay. All those in favor of issuing the purchase to Water's Edge Dock and Lift of Nisswa, please say aye.
Aye.
At this point, I will close the public portion of the meeting, of the council meeting, and then in about 5 minutes, we will go to closed section to discuss the options on the land purchase.
You need to identify the specific
Absolutely.
documents. If you would read those.
Yep.